The biopsychosocial model and JEMS, how do they go together? Hi everybody, I'm Joanne, and I'd just like to have a chat with you about this because recent research has really pointed out that although clinicians are often very committed to upholding a biopsychosocial approach, we aren't necessarily very well supported or equipped to be able to apply it effectively. So what I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about how this shows up in JEMS, how we would work with it. And let's use a really common thing that we might be working towards. So let's use unilateral weight bearing, the ability to stand on one leg. Okay, a really important underpinning for so many different things. But we're going to start with what is the functional meaning of this. Yeah, and you might say unilateral weight bearing, and I'm going to go, well, yes, it's also the acceptance of weight, the acceptance of the body onto that leg. Now, what does that mean to the patient? Well, it might mean the ability to live independently at home. It might mean the ability to run comfortably. It might mean the ability to dance. So we're talking about layers of meaning here, okay, and we're going to use those all the way through, because all of our explanations, all of our cueing is going to be tagging into that meaning, that aspect that is going to speak to them, their thinking brain, and also their feeling self as well. So we have an overall purpose. Excellent. So now let's look at the biopsychosocial aspect. So the B, the bio, let's start with that. So I'm sure that you will have considered, well, what happens with the bones when we're going to accept weight, what rotates where, what flexes, what extends, what are the neuromuscular responses you might expect, and all of the possibilities around that. There's so many options. And what's happening fascially, still very much, we're in the bio here. I would love to extend that out into what's happening with the reflexes, which via the sensory system are signaling an anti-gravity response from the body. Now that then takes us into the interaction between the body, our organic selves, and the physical forces we evolved to be able to use. So in this case, the ground reaction force and gravity. We evolved to be able to use these things to stand up and walk around. Okay, so that's the B, the bio. Not everything, but just an overview. So how about the P, the psycho? So I'm not going to be talking about the cognitive behavioral approach or motivational interviewing, nothing wrong with those things. But from my point of view, the first question I want to know is, well, what does the person believe about their ability to perform this movement? What do they believe is going to happen? Already we're looking at what predictions the brain is making about what's likely to happen, and that tells us a lot about the potential for the system to change. Now again, this is going to change how we communicate and the kind of stories we create to explain things to the patient. But it also puts a container around them so that we can work within their window of tolerance. So if someone believes it's going to be unsuccessful or painful or something else to step onto that leg, what can I do to change that? Well, I can change the weight bearing requirement. So for example, I could sit someone on a ball. I can have them transfer their weight in the direction of one leg. So the body is having to encounter the transition of load. It is having to make predictions to prepare to accept that load. It is looking at a relationship between what's happening with the head and the trunk as that weight transitions in the direction of the foot. There's so many things that are happening there. However, it is a novel experience, so that opens up the possibility for change from a brain point of view. It also reduces the load, so that gives us an opportunity to reduce the impression of threat. And both of these things open more possibility for change, for a renegotiation about the beliefs. Okay, so we're shifting people into the realm of exploration and curiosity by diminishing the amount of demand we have on them. So if they're just trying to cope with the idea of standing on that leg, we don't really have much wriggle room. Yeah, we have to create capacity. So this is one of the ways in which we might do it. Now, that's going to bring us into embodiment and emotion. So, for example, if they're apprehensive, how do they embody that before they even begin the step? Think about yourself, and how do you embody apprehension? Where does your body go? Because that's going to change how you perform the movement. Some people fold into themselves. Some people go up and out. Some people take the bottom half of themselves forward and then catch up with the top. All of these things are going to change what happens in the bio. So you're going to have completely different neuromuscular responses. You will have different structural relationships. So no matter what exercises you do, how somebody feels and the beliefs that they carry is going to change what happens with that bio. So